Okay, welcome in MacGyver Engineering. One more time, maybe you remember this rotor from a broken machine. Well, I decided to revive it anyway. So I picked up some stuff from my scrapyard, let's say, and I cut it to the size. I needed some tabs, some measures, some angles, straight angles, all that stuff. And after thinking quite a lot, designing in the FreeCAD, I came up with this design. This is the very first cut I ever made with this machine. It has been never used before. Everything is just put together very quickly with screws, and I'm really surprised how well it did, because this is handmade, everything junk stuff. So right now there is really not much of a protection, some guards, no dust suction, anything. Right now even there is no angle possibility to take the angle cuts. There is a place for that prepared, but not really implemented yet. Just the lift to take the blade up and down. Well, I think I could do it better, but with the materials I have in Access, this is the best I could. The bolt and mounting is also handmade, so it's not really precise. This plastic over here, as you can see, this is the only thing that isolates the engine and the blade from the rest of the frame. The issue with that rotor was that it has a short to the shaft. Basically, the blade will kill you now in two ways. Either it will cut you, or it will kill you by electric shock. Now, this is the power control. You cannot switch it on simply by pushing something. You have to push your fingernail deep in that hole, and then so it will start. I cannot give you the sound of it because the camera I was recording it doesn't record the sound. This is only the stop button, so you can push the stop how many times you want. You cannot start it by accident. Okay, so here I'm showing just one of the first cuts. As you can see, the wood doesn't move smoothly through the surface because it's rough, and this is the first thing I was about to change about this. But anyway, I'm not pushing very hard through it. I'm still very cautious about this motor. And this is the top I came up with. I wanted to use a plywood, but it was too expensive, so I just use a cheap wood and cover it with a special varnish. Now, keep in mind this door, because this is going to be a very first project made with that tool. So this is before, and yeah, here I want to show you just the varnish that I was using to cover the top. It's a 2 ingredients clean plastic floor coating. It's really tough, and I think it will be enough for a while. So this is the first project cuts, let's say. Quite a lot of cutting, and different depths, different how can I say, length, quite a lot of cutting. I wanted to be sure that it will do the stuff I want before I will improve it even better, and really it does its job. I'm really surprised, and I never get another shock again. This is how I put those pieces into the door. Remember, everything is scrap. There is nothing new bought to fix it. Everything was lying around. There are big gaps because unfortunately this door wasn't really made at the straight angles. So I already inserted the larger blade and put some dust protection because the dust was flying everywhere. And I secured a little bit the off button, so you cannot, you know, basically like hook it with your clothes or something like that. For the lift, I just, you know, I was thinking about making some, you know, how you call it, cranks, but I decided just to weld a piece of bolt at the end of it, and here you can regulate the angle and the depth of the cut the way you want. Yeah, and let's not forget about the dust suction. You know, the dust suction goes directly through my water filter, patented, and you can see it in my other videos. Maybe I will link it down, but I never bothered to do that, so you have to search it yourself. So it's a, you know, going through a bubbler, back to the vacuum cleaner, and you know, the air is very clean. The dust, you can see it's because there was too much cutting, you know. Maybe a word about how the blade is mounted, because this is quite an issue. I don't have the original mount for the blades, so I have to came up with something. Basically, these washers, these big washers, they are about 2.5 millimeters thick. They come from Sweden, but that's a different story. Everything is from scrap, anyhow. And of course, the blade doesn't fit on the shaft, so I had to come up with something that would fill up the gap. I came up with this washer. I had to drill it in the depth for the 60 millimeter diameter with my table saw. Drill press, and I had to grind up the outer diameter so it will fit. Now, to install it, you have to flip it on the side, and first you put those two, because you don't want to really squeeze the washer that is inside. You just want to put the tension on the blade. So then you insert the blade on it, and it already, you know, fits really tight. There is no play here around whatsoever. Another one from the top, and the bolt. Bolt is already, you know, has been used for some other project. I had to cut it off with an angle grinder. Okay, so that's it. And it really does its job. I don't have much of a play around that. Now, it survived the torture test. About 2 meters length piece of wood, 75 millimeters deep. You know, it's a winner. So this is the end of the project. You know, this is how they look. I still need to remove some paint from the windows, but that's a different story. Wait until it will be completely dry. If you are picky, you will definitely see the faults and the problems with this, but you know, I don't really care so much. All of those doors I had to cut through the bottom, you know, and it's not really easy to cut a door that is, you know, 2 meters long on a table saw, because I don't have the one that you can hold in the hands. Now it's much brighter here, and well, I'm satisfied with that. I'm sure the people who will live here will be also satisfied. It came quite a lot of wood filler into this, but you know, that's a different story. Now, as to the saw, you can see the table is scratched all over the surface, but you know, that's because it's used quite a lot. Right now I have added some extra dust protection. I also inserted a capacitor into the circuit to filter out all the, you know, unwanted, well, to basically smooth the start of the engine, because that was my concern. So that's it. More videos coming soon.